So I'm here with Paula, and Paula lives in Denmark. And Paula just completed the 30-day family reset with me, where we did a whole series on the hand-in-hand tools, and worked together and did a lot of listening time. And so welcome, Paula. I'm so excited that you just completed the course, and I'm really excited to introduce you to the Handinhand community and to just take a moment to hear your thoughts on this experience.
Hi there. It's really great. Thanks very much for inviting me to talk about it. The reset has completely changed things around for me and my family. From where we were in January to now, it's like a completely different family, completely different mum here. And it's really got us back on track and got me parenting the way that I want to be parenting, rather than in emergency mode, which is where I'd unfortunately found myself.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for taking this moment to share with us. And I want to hear, but tell us a little bit about what life was like before Handinhand, before you had these tools, before you had time to be heard and listened to. What was it like for you? What was going on that you reached out for help?
I've been sick quite a lot. I've unfortunately had pneumonia 5 times, so I haven't had a lot of energy, and also being in this situation where I live in Denmark with my husband who's Danish. We don't have a lot of family support around us. We've got friends and that's great, but there perhaps isn't the opportunity to get the support, the parenting support, and also the opportunity to talk about these struggles, because as a sort of expat parent, you have your own parenting assumptions from your own upbringing, but then you're in a different culture which has different parenting assumptions. You have to figure out what those are, and you don't have the support around you that maybe you would if you were parenting in the hometown where you were brought up with your family and friends around you. So for me, it was great to get that support and feel like these aren't just challenges that I'm facing alone on my own. These are parenting challenges that a lot of people face, and it's just so much better to be able to talk about it and to share, and to be able to change direction, move it in a better direction. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And what specifically, what kinds of things are happening in your life? How are you feeling about parenting beforehand? What did your days look like? What did your relationships look like? Specifically, what was happening?
Well, I originally sort of had my first experience with Handinhand through finding a link on social media, probably Facebook, and then I signed up for the starter class about two years ago, and the impetus for that was that after my daughter was born, my son, who was nearly 2, was just had a lot of aggression, and he went from being this happy smiley baby that everyone sort of commented on, he's so relaxed and so cool, and to this aggression coming from nowhere, and I just couldn't understand it. Even though I'd read about it, what to expect when you had a sibling, I still wasn't prepared for it, because I thought, oh no, not my boy. He's, he's going to be so totally cool with it. He's going to like love his new brother or sister. But there were a lot of feelings there.
Yeah.
And I realized that this was something that I wasn't going to be able to solve on my own. So I reached out and I did the class. And it was great to find out about the tools. But what I found was that I took to some of the tools. The others have taken more time for me to be able to understand them maybe fully, and also be able to implement them.
Yeah.
So the situation I was in was that it was like a catch-22, because I knew in theory what I should be doing, but I wasn't implementing it. So that was like almost doubly frustrating, because I knew that I had tools here that would work, but I couldn't find out where is the time, where is the space to be able to implement this in my daily life, and amongst all these other things that are happening to us, and feeling ill and sick, and so it's difficult. And I remember what you said in one of the calls, that I was looking for a solution to the behavior that I didn't want, the aggression in the moment, and I wanted to find a solution to that, and that's where I've been basing or concentrating all of my effort. But then when you said in that call, well, yeah, but like that's like there's pollution coming into a stream, and you're downstream, and you're trying to take the pollution out with like a teacup, and you're furiously doing this, and it's not working, because you need to go upstream and deal with the source of pollution upstream. And that when I got that, everything started to fall into place for us, because I realized it wasn't what I was doing at the time when the aggression was arising that was the most important thing. The most important thing was I needed to get back up there and be my son's advocate, and be there for him, and see him fully for who he really was again. And that's an incredible gift, because we've gone from not having a terrible relationship, but to really truly having my boy back. And that's just incredible for both of us, and I'll always be incredibly grateful for that. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, well, you did that.
Well, you gave me all of the tools that I needed to be able to do it.
I'm really, really it's been such a pleasure and such an honor watching you grow. And so if I may, I remember there was a time you said you were hiding under your covers. Tell us about that.
Yes. That was the day that I reached out, because it just been it was just such a long day. I went to pick my children, who are 3 and 5, up from daycare, and they ran away from me when I got there. They were playing, they didn't want to come home, they didn't want to put their jacket and boots on. It was a real battle. We got outside, and my daughter ran down the street and didn't want to get in the car. Every single small thing that day was a real effort.
Yeah.
And we got home, and then they were fighting. So as soon as my husband came in, I said, "You're going to have to look after the kids." And I went upstairs, and I hid in bed underneath the duvet. I actually had seen a notification about the Handinhand podcast, and I thought, I've got to do something to distract myself to, something here. And it was the episode on if having regrets about parenting. And I listened to it, and I just thought that, like, it was just exactly what I needed to hear, that I wasn't alone, that this wasn't just happening to me, and that I could there was something that I could go for help. And that's when I reached out to you and signed up for the 30-day reset. And from the first week, it was just an improvement upon improvement. So I'm so pleased that I did that day, instead of just continuing to just try and fight my way through. And
it's so amazing. I have to say, as a hand-in-hand instructor, that just brings tears to my eyes, that Elle can be in Hong Kong and I can be here in Los Angeles, and we can record something that reaches into your heart in Denmark, in a moment that you need it most, right? And that together, we parents can just come together and help heal each other. And that is just so beautiful, It
was amazing. It's just exactly what I needed to hear right at that time. A little bit of hope, which I really needed at the time.
I'm so glad. You're such an incredible mom and such a beautiful person. It has been just truly my honor watching you. And so we did a class for 5 weeks, and tell us what it's like at the end of that. How are things different now?
Oh, things are totally different, because I'm back to the place where I can enjoy my kids. I have worked on using the tools, and I'm not 100% there with everything yet, but now I see it all as it's a work in progress. So there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that, my son realizes that I'm back on his side, right? And we've got this, this close relationship back, that's so special. I think I told you the story that I heard him and his dad talking in another room the other day. So I just put my head around the door to see what to find out what they're up to. And when he saw me, he just smiled at me, and got this great big beaming smile from him that I hadn't seen in so long, that really said, "Oh, Mom, I'm so pleased to see you." And I just thought, it just floored me. That just it's just, I was like, I'm so pleased I've got this back. I'm so pleased that we've got this, and hopefully this relationship for good now to continue and build upon it and just have more and more fun.
Yeah. And you said you saw, and by the way, let me just say, I'm not 100% with the tools either. I don't know that that's ever going to happen. But the tools are 100%. So I just keep coming back to them to get a little bit more. So
I've always been, from the start, I will stay listening. I totally got it, and I could do it, which I know some people struggle with. But I could really sit there and be with them, and hold their feelings. Play listening was my big problem, because I had got the message from my childhood that if, you know, the person who's playful and the person who's the good time is also the person that won't be there for you in the hard times. And I didn't realize that I had this idea, this paradigm from when I was a child that affected me, because I wanted to be there for my kids. I wanted to be, for them to know that I was reliable. So it was hard for me to have fun because I couldn't somehow reconcile the two. And it was only when I sort of went into it deeply with you that we came across this, and then when I realized this was the misconception that I had, I could do something about it. I could work with it. So it wasn't like play listening became really simple overnight, but it was that I could try it and sit with my discomfort with it, and then actually find out it was a lot more fun than I expected it to be when I got into it, but with the understanding that I had, these difficulties with it. And when I understood what those difficulties were, it was a lot easier to implement it. So I found in that way, working with the tools, that's really changed, and being able to use the range of tools where before I was relying on a couple of them. And like you said, it's like a table with the legs, and if you're not using all of them, then it's going to be a little bit wonky. And listening partnerships, I've had a listening partner for a long time now, a couple of years, and she's fantastic, and I really appreciate that, so much. And that's been really great. In particular, being in this situation that I'm in, being in Denmark away from family and really close friends, and having someone to just be able to share all that stuff with, that's been really cool. So there were some things that were working really well for me, and then other things that I was really stuck with, and I needed to get unstuck, but I didn't really know what I needed to do to be unstuck. I needed, somebody else to help me with that. I couldn't have figured that out on my own.
Yeah, I get it. It helps to have someone be there. And I think that's one of the things that I know I personally got from Handinhand was being able to have someone mentor and guide, but not take over, to help someone help me listen to myself. And I think that's such a gift that that happens with Handinhand. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you. This has been so amazing. Tell me, will you share with us the story that you shared with me the other day about your son's birthday and how you had thought before one thing about him, and then all of a sudden on his birthday you were like, wow, look how far we've come in just a few short weeks?
Yes. It was my daughter's birthday. It was her third birthday, and when we woke up in the morning, we sang happy birthday to my son, and I could see that my daughter was a little bit upset. She was a bit sad, maybe a little bit sad that it's not your birthday.
It was your son's birthday or your daughter's birthday? I'm sorry.
It was my daughter's birthday.
Your daughter's birthday, okay.
Yeah, so she was a little bit sad that it wasn't her birthday, that it was my son's birthday. So it wasn't her special day, even though she just had her birthday in January. But like that's, years ago for a 3-year-old, right?
Okay, and so now it's your son's birthday, and
yeah.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
So it was his birthday. So my daughter was a little bit sad because it wasn't her birthday, and she was a little bit because he was getting the attention, and so we were singing happy birthday to him. And back when we started the reset, and you asked us to identify what our preconceptions were about our kids. I wrote down that my son could be selfish, and I knew that wasn't the whole story. But there'd been, so much toy taken, and you're taking things off my daughter and not allowing her to have time, and a lot of jealousy. So I wrote it down because I knew that's what I needed to deal with. So yeah, on this morning of his birthday, his little sister's upset, and I'm saying to her, "Oh, are you sad because it's not your birthday today?" And he just leans over to her and whispered to her in Danish, "It's okay, Alive, you can have some of my presents." This girl crying, and I just couldn't believe it. I never ever thought that I would hear him say something like that, but that is who he is. I've always known that's who he is. So being able to rediscover or allow him to be himself, right? That kind, funny boy that's always been in there is just being incredible for him, and incredible for me to see it happen, and in such a short space of time.
That's so great. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And then how has it affected maybe the other people in your household, your daughter, your husband? Any changes that you've seen there?
I mean, it's a lot more peaceful. The kids can play together for a lot longer. There's still problems with them maybe getting a bit aggressive with each other. If they're tired or if they're hungry, it's not a default. Like, looking back at it now, I can see that the default for my son, if he was frustrated or if he was angry with anything, was I'm gonna somehow do something to leave it, to take my daughter, to take it out.
Yeah.
To release the feelings somehow, right? And that had become his way of dealing with it. And in his mind, that was the shortcut. Something hasn't gone my way. I didn't get something that I wanted. I'm going to go and take whatever lever's playing with, or or I'm going to push her, or whatever. So that was ingrained after 3 years. So I was thinking, how am I ever going to be able to how is he ever going to unlearn that? And then now that's not his default. That's not how he deals with things. He can get upset about things without resorting to taking it out on his little sister. And that's great for me, because also I was worried about if he's being aggressive with her all the time, how's that affecting my daughter? It was hard because picking them up from daycare, trying to make them something to eat, 5 minutes I would leave them and they would be fighting. So it was just really tiring to always have to be there.
And now how much time do you get?
Loads of time. In fact, they've started now really wrestling with each other, which is incredible to see, and I love it, because I think it's amazing to see my little daughter really wrestling with her 5-year-old brother, and have a great time together. Really good. And they're so good, they're so gentle with each other, there's no intention to hurt. It's really getting in and playing with each other and testing themselves physically, but not hurting each other.
Yeah.
Not deliberately anyway.
And how's your husband doing with all these changes? How's it been for him?
Oh, it's great. It's just, yeah, because it just took such a lot of energy
Yeah.
for this all the time. And now we've got time to have energy for other stuff. Yeah. So we're not just thinking about that all the time. Or
Yeah.
what can we do? What can we um what should we be doing that we're not doing? Or it's just like a release from all that. And it's amazing as well because, it was such a short time ago, but like talking about it, it's amazing how you just come to take it for granted after a short time, right? It's just
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with us. It's
Thank
so
you.
meaningful. And what would you like parents to know? What would you like parents who may not be on this side of it yet? What would you like them to know?
That there's help there, that you're not alone, that you where you are right now, it might all seem out of control, but it's not. There's help. Other people are feeling the same way, and you can do something about it. You just need to reach out. And that's why I wanted to do this today, because it's such a change for one family. And then if you imagine if more families did this, how much better things could be, how much better society could be, if we just took the time to listen and be on the side of our kids.
Thank you, Paula.
Really, yeah, really, it's just, yeah, been such a powerful message for me. So I really wanted to share that and say, if you're thinking about doing it, don't think about it anymore. Reach out and get the help that you need. Because like I remember you saying in that first podcast that I listened to, nobody knows how to do this, right? We come into parenting with the expectation that we should just know what we're doing, and but sometimes we just need a bit of help. So it's important when those times come to get the help that you need. And I think that the important thing about this is that, with the listening partnerships and with the focus on the parents, it's not about a set of do's and don'ts for kids. It's about, it's about having the energy yourself to be able to parent the way that you want to. And that's only possible if you've got the support that you need. Without that, you're going to be really struggling. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And if you ever wanted to, you might consider a certification track with Handinhand, and you could share this work yourself as an instructor.
I would like to share it. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, I have it informally with sort of my friends here, and I've shared the book and the resources and talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, there's a year-long certification track that you can take as long as you need to take, but it's 1 year in theory. Okay. And can be done from distance. And just wanted to share that with you.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.